Welcome to Feminized. It's time for a show that turns the spotlight on the powerful women shaping cannabis culture. The cannabis industry is on fire and women are sparking it up. If you like the show, please subscribe. You can also subscribe to the Feminized podcast with Liz Grow on YouTube and Instagram. The future is feminized. Y'all, I have the most perfect episode for you today. I'm joined by the VP of Brand Strategy for Perfect Cannabis, Mo Isern. Mo talks about her recent journey into cannabis as the co-founder of Perfect Cannabis and how building community is really the only way. Guys, this episode is meant for the passionate cannabis consumer, and I absolutely loved every minute of it. Mo, I'll be seeing you very soon in LA. Enjoy the episode. Hey, sis. You're now listening to the Feminized podcast. So, Mo Isern, welcome to the Feminized podcast.
Hi, thank you for having me.
So, talk to me about what it's like to be the VIP. Well, you are the VIP, the VP of Brand Strategy at Perfect Cannabis.
Oh my goodness. It is a privilege and a gift and a surprise in terms of how it came about, in the sense that I've really grown into the position, and the experience is really being able to find a way to verbalize and bring to life and give color and sort of energy to this idea on behalf of people that I believe are out there, that I feel I represent, and that we aspire to reach and impact and support with the product that we're creating. And it's been just an awesome journey.
God, it's like all encompassing, you know? I mean, it sounds as if it's not just, is it just Perfect Cannabis, or are you working with other brands right now? I mean, that really sounded like a comment of somebody who's helping a lot of brands find their voice.
That's a really good way to think about it. It comes from this place of, I think as the founders, like there's three of us, Michael Bacchus, Dean Hollander, and myself. And just in terms of like who we are and the kind of, I think, people that we are, what we aspire, and the team that we have, like the people that we've attracted to work with us. I think we think about things in that big way of, letting a product be part of somebody's life experience and kind of quality of life experience. Yeah. And we all do things outside of cannabis that speak to that. And then inside of cannabis, I think we see an opportunity to be, a partner to other brands and to other products to kind of help make cannabis better in a lot of ways, like to help make the experience of finding it, of making it, of trying it better. And we do have brands that we're talking to where there's collaboration opportunities on the table. And those things are really exciting and definitely speak to a lot of ways we want to collaborate creatively, not just with product, but with, not with cannabis product alone, but with bigger than, cannabis experiences. So that's really, exciting.
That's incredibly exciting. So it's more than a product. It's a philosophy. It's an ecosystem. And that's something that I think consumers are really looking to get around. I like to remind people listening to this podcast, my expertise in cannabis comes from being a consumer. And I believe I know what I like, and I believe I know what I want. And so that's something that really, I think, resonates, with me, is what products can I start to incorporate in my daily life from now until ? Because, I'm not going a day without cannabis.
Right.
But right now, as the market is so nascent, it's like there's just new products every day and, new technologies and things. I definitely want to talk about you guys and your, patented cold fusion flower process. But it feels bigger than just the product. And I want to thank you for that.
I'm glad that's coming through, and we're definitely excited to hear from people who've tried the product and speak to us about the experience that it enables for them. Mm-hmm. It really is a delight to hear the delight come back to us. Like if I think about what's our win, like what's a win for us is when a person who's tried it is just giddy and they let it slip out, the word perfect, it's perfect, or I feel perfect, or the moment was perfect, and they don't even necessarily realize they do it. And so it's just a fun moment to have. And I think that's part of what, cannabis is in a lot of ways, is this sort of pursuit of that moment where you feel that relief, or you feel that moment of either focus or ease or levity or, relaxation. And in life, we look for that all the time, and so this is just another tool in that toolkit. But normalizing it is definitely something that we've talked about. How do we make a product that reaches people that may not already be reaching for cannabis, or might be afraid to reach for it, or might be afraid to talk about the fact that they reach for it? And so even, how we package it, and bringing, I think, some normalcy to, it's okay to have this sort of like very subtle, pretty flower, and it
looks a beauty product.
Right.
And I appreciate that direction that you're taking, because, coming from Texas, we're trying to educate the market, from the inside out. My husband and I started a media company 4 years ago because, we weren't getting education. We weren't getting information in Texas about this like miracle plant in so many ways, not even just the THC, but the CBD. So, going out and finding those brands that will appeal to our people, so to speak. Our community is still very afraid to talk about it. It's mind blowing to think, but Mo, it's like we need brands like Perfect that are just about, again, the mindset, the community, the science, perfect product. I know what to expect from my results. That is really what's going to move the needle, I think, in Texas, for Texans to understand that, yes, this is a plant for us,
I think one realization I've had in just learning about it in my experience of being part of growing the brand, and learning from Michael, who's really like our in-house, teacher constantly, is how really natural it is, like how it interacts with a system you've already got built in, and how it also has like built-in controls. And so, what Michael does, and inside of the process he uses to formulate, is really use a lot of the plant's natural abilities and maximizing that. It's the more that, we kind of try these different blends, these different formulations, and now we have a fourth one coming out, which we're really excited about. And you see him do it again. You see him find like this specificity with the plant. Mm-hmm. And you just realize like it is available, it's there. You don't have to use a lot of it. Right. It doesn't have to be a product that makes you experience life a certain way, like, the stoner mentality, or the perception that you can't be a productive person, or a functional person, or a intelligent person who makes wise decisions, who's thoughtful, who's living a productive life. And I think in a lot of ways, like the stigma about it really can only be broken in some way by showing, like by really just representing what it is to live a productive life, where this is happening, and it's not very different than having a glass of wine at the end of the day. And I just choose not to have wine.
Right. So,
yeah.
It's very refreshing. And, that mindset, I think, is becoming more and more the norm, as, more states legalize. And it becomes more, people start to see the economic benefits too. I think they start to soften, like, hey, this is kind of not such a bad thing. But where are you guys located right now? Where's the headquarters? Perfect.
So we operate mostly out of Los Angeles. That's where we formulate. That's where we have, most of our team. And then we have some folks in San Diego. But we're also a kind of global community in that, like, we have one of our lead designers is in Copenhagen, and we have another designer in Portland. And so we also have a really collaborative, sense of being in a lot of places at once.
I love that. I find that more than any other industry, that's what cannabis is about. So many businesses are built with, just diverse perspectives, nationally, at least. You're bringing things from the table and understandings that have been previously kind of kept under wraps, right? Black market. And now it's all kind of emerging, and we all have to come together and help each other.
Yeah, I find this industry is incredibly collaborative, and I entered it from being more of a content creator. I was a documentary creator. I have a production company. I was a journalist. My background has been more in, I think, storytelling and liking to drive actionable change, or different kinds of thinking through content that I've made. And so this is my personal first experience with a product, right? And it's been just a really interesting experience to evolve into an industry that I've learned about, and also felt really charged by, really like inspired by the people that work in it, the knowledge, like the legacy knowledge that exists. Yes. People like Michael, people like yourself who've been in the conversation so much longer. And so I feel like for myself, I'm merely a mouthpiece, and sort of learning what it is like to be a consumer who's had stigma or a lack of understanding, really, a lack of information, a lack of awareness, that could have impacted my life earlier had I had it, and could have impacted lives that I know.
Right.
Of,
yeah.
So.
I love that tentative approach, kind of student first, or understanding, again, from the perspective of the consumer. And I've picked that up about the brand itself. It seems to be, it's product forward. It doesn't overwhelm with the technology, although the technology sounds fabulous and I want to talk about it. But yeah, it really feels like it's not trying to do too much, if that makes sense. It's like, it's an exciting industry to be in. It's exciting to launch a brand. It's exciting to wake people up, I think, to the benefits of cannabis, but it's like, it can be like overwhelming too, as a consumer. And so it's a lot of buildup, but, I haven't tried the product myself, but I've definitely, looked at the branding and, seen what I could see, and I'm intrigued. So you're onto something, I think.
Yeah, we're hoping to use more of, people's stories and sharing that the product's making a difference to them, and letting that speak for itself, and tapping more into experiences that people have, and being on the ground. Now the world's kind of opening up again, and we can be out at events and starting to meet people. We're definitely in store. Judith is an amazing energy, and she really lights up the conversation with people when she gets to interact in store. And we're really looking to do more small, kind of bite-sized education, and let people learn about the ability that you have to use the plant to your benefit with intention, in a way that, helps you feel the way you want to feel, as we like to say.
Yeah, like that's everything. There's everything right about that sentence, but it, some unfortunately still scares some people. But what doesn't scare them, and I think what does seem to be a gateway to getting to know cannabis, is science, right? And being able to say, well, listen, let me tell you about this cool thing that we're doing with the flower itself, and you're able to kind of back off you should try it, because, and again, I'm just putting myself in these conversations, with the lawmakers or whomever is still kind of tentative about it. So cold infused flower.
Right.
Tell me.
So Michael definitely is the, best spokesperson when it comes to what he's invented. But in essence, he's been blending flower for a long time to use the properties from different strains to really focus in on a certain type of outcome. And And over time, when he first started doing it, instead of, aiming for a nightcap experience or happy camper or pick me up, he noticed that, over time the terpenes were degrading and you couldn't necessarily have the same experience in 2 months that you could, on day one. Right. So the concept and really what we pursue is that, quote, perfect moment, that moment at harvest when the plant is in that perfect state, when the terpenes are at that really high, rich level. And it's an experience most consumers don't get, right? Most consumers are getting something that's degrading over time, and the plant has its own varieties. So what he really found was the ability to extract terpenes from the plant. We do, I believe it's like a half fresh frozen, gets extracted, and then that gets infused into the plant. And so he formulates a spec based on the terpene profile and cannabinoids, and it ends up really being able to do something more than the individual strain can do. But it also helps stabilize, and he uses cold storage. So the cold part of this is that we treat the plant like produce. You wouldn't leave a head of lettuce on the shelf or, for a month. You would put it in the fridge. And we actually, use that as the main example of, this is produce, treat it like produce, refrigerate it. We use the freezer and the fridge, along the way. We use it in retail, we use it in transport and in delivery in a lot of cases. And some of our partners even deliver it cold to help reinforce that, right? At home, It's not a product that you would regret leaving out if you left it out for a night or something. But, it's really like lives best in your butter compartment is how I like to think.
I love it.
And it looks nice there. It's actually, it doesn't stand out like something you have to hide from somebody if you're worried about it.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. It will be in my butter compartment one day. So let's talk about, what does the product line look like currently?
So we've had our initial lineup, which is what we like to call the perfect day. So we have Happy Camper, which is a great mood lift and it has a nice energy boost. And we have Pick Me Up, which helps you find your focus and boost your energy in the moment. So I like to use that to get things done and kind of quiet my mind to focus on one thing. Nightcap helps take the edge off at the end of the day or whenever you need to take the edge off. And we have a new blend coming out in a matter of weeks, and that one's called Sex Pot.
Yes.
That one we're really excited to announce, and we just think that it'll get people's attention. And that one, each little blend has its own tagline, and that one's enjoy the moment.
Yes.
So I think you'll enjoy the moment.
Oh my God, I love it. Okay, so and these products, these lines, are they? Is it flower that you're? Again, this is, break it down to me as a consumer. What can I buy? What can I take home from the dispensary?
Sure. So you can find us as mini pre-rolls, which we call our little mini, pre-roll 3-packs. And so those are 3 kind of dog walkers. They're each a third of a gram. You can find us in our Perfecto, which is a really unique 2-in-1 pre-roll. In some cases, it's kind of sold out in some places, but you can still locate it. And that one you can cut to size so you can share with a friend or you can save some for later. And it's just a really fun kind of novelty product. And our most easy, I think, way to use it is in our 3-gram flower jar. So that's a blended loose flower. And it comes with a little mini micro pipe, which means you can microdose in 75 milligrams. And it's just super easy on the go.
Do you have something to show me?
Yeah. So like, for example, you'd have your jar. And so I have like a little paper, right? You have your little air thing, and that's a little paper flower, right?
Yeah.
Tap it, and then it's a little self-cleaning pipe, so it ashes, and they come in each product. So when you take the sleeve off, you can open the box, and you'll find the jar there and the pipe. So it all fits nicely. This is our very first original jar, unmarked.
I just said it. It just happened, Mo. It just literally happened.
Did you just say perfect?
I just said perfect.
There you go.
My God. Oh my God.
You haven't even tried it yet.
No, I haven't. Oh, that's so beautiful. Wow. And I love that it's loose flower. I love that it's blended perfectly. I mean, that's something that, you can't be replicated. I mean, it can be copied for sure. But that's definitely something that can't be replicated. And that's exciting, to have a brand to follow and get around, because they're doing the cool things, right? They're not doing the just like thing that everybody else is doing. I get into that, and I know a lot of other consumers do too.
And our real goal is to just make buying cannabis easy, right? Yeah. I think that was the original intention Dean Hollander, our CEO and co-founder, had, was really to clear up that moment of confusion in the dispensary or online when you just aren't sure you're going to get what you are trying to get, and you leave there spending maybe 80 or 100 or 20 or 40 hard-earned dollars, and you don't know if you're going to like what you got. And so he's really been the carrier of that like torch of, we're going to make this easy, we're going to simplify it, we're going to make it better, we're going to make it something you can rely on. And eventually, we have an opportunity to be in other states, and so it can work like any other product you're used to buying and relying on inside your life. So that'll be really exciting.
So exciting. That was my next question, is, are you guys in other states? No, right now you're just in Cali.
Right now we're just in Cali, and we just got our website, our direct to consumer website up on our site. So you can order us on our website. We can deliver. We have a delivery partner, and we're also in, dispensaries here and there throughout the LA area, Orange County, and San Francisco. We're starting to creep out into, I think, like the Palm Desert area and maybe towards San Diego. But online is really where most people have been finding us. We've been delivering through Ganja Goddess. They've been carrying us for some time. And our website, is going to really have, I think, the most fun experience in terms of being able to kind of follow different news and education and comments and things that people are kind of sharing back with us. But we've also really had a great time collaborating. We think, Ganja Goddess, for instance, they were really excited about our Ask Michael series, where Michael answers very simple questions that help you just kind of clear up something you might be curious about.
And so
Ganja Goddess, it's
on. Where can I find this?
Ask Michael, you can find on our Instagram at Blends by Perfect. You can find it on Ganja Goddess's website. They are at goddessdelivers.com. And we're going to start having it pops up on our website, but we'll start having it go out through email. And we're really thinking that you can actually email a question anytime you'd like to ask Michael at perfect-blends.com. So if you're curious, he might answer your question on social.
I am going to be emailing some questions. Desperate future customer in Texas. That'll be how I sign it. Okay, that's incredible. So this is definitely, again, back to the fact that you're creating you're building a philosophy backed by this really perfect product and perfect customer experience that you're looking to take to other states. You are open to other states because let me tell you, Oklahoma is a beautiful state. And there's a lot going on there, and the consumer is hungry for the perfect experience, and let's be honest, the Texas consumer that goes across to Oklahoma.
Sure. Yeah. We hear from people in other states from social, and we hear, I know that we've been talking with people in Michigan, so that's the next potential state that we might be in.
Oh, yes.
And that's where Dean has been really hard at work, is talking to manufacturers and co-packers and different distributors to see how we can bring this product out at scale. And there's definitely ways to do that. So, I would think we are able with our, what's that?
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry to break in, but I was going to say, I would think that with the cold, infused process. I mean, you're freezing this flower. I mean, I guess you have to get around the federal state lines laws. Sorry.
So they've worked out a way where we can work with manufacturers in other states and growers in other states, and I know states have different limitations, and you can't always bring flour in, and you have to work with local product and things like that. But we can bring our packaging across state lines, and where we can produce that in different states. And with our technology, we are able to deliver something that then the co-packer would be able to work, or the manufacturer would be able to work on producing the end result the same way. So we're testing it. You run into, from what I'm hearing, because I'm not closely involved in that piece of it, but what I hear is you're really up against the challenges of, what it is to actually execute a consistent process.
Yes.
Technology, and whether, the teams that are out there doing the work to build this are there yet to build it at scale. Right. So, but I think that's the cannabis industry as a whole. And there's all these transferable skills from all these other industries, and everyone's still kind of moving things into place, it seems like, and having to jump through a lot of loopholes.
100%. And we were hacking through the jungle with machete, right, to make the path. And then we put these SOPs in place that are exactly suited for our company, our team, our product. And then we try, I think we being just cannabis, big cannabis companies who are manufacturing a product, they try to put it in other markets with just, those variables are all different. And it's, a lot of people are losing their butts in this industry because they were really having a hard time replicating experience, I think. But it really does sound like you guys are absolutely onto something with that piece of the puzzle. And I cannot wait to be back in LA to try your products, because we will get it delivered by goddessdelivers.com and
perfect-blends.com will definitely be excited to have people coming to our website and come visit California.
So we could just visit. Okay. And this is going to be a dumb question, but I can just fly to California and check into a hotel and go on perfect-blends.com and say, I need a nightcap and I need to have a camper and I need to pick me up. And you will deliver that to my hotel if I'm a 21-year-old adult.
Exactly. I can't speak for whatever the hotel situation is, but in most of the state, we are partnered with Grassdoor on the back end. They have some limitations on zip codes, but they cover most of the state. So you'd be able to check your zip code, and so you might want to check that before you pick your hotel.
Right. Thank you. Good point. Okay. I love it. Okay. So let's switch gears just a little bit. How did you get into cannabis in the first place?
Yeah, that's a really good question.
You're a producer. You are an actor. I did my research.
Yeah. Well, I like to say we are all many things. And my experience with cannabis was like a lot of people's, where, I was introduced to it in high school casually, didn't love how I felt, was paranoid, didn't feel good. Yeah. Used it occasionally, right? I actually didn't ever buy it with my own money until I was, I think, over 35. And so for a long time I was that casual. And then I found myself, just in kind of I would say like a transition period in life. I was a new mom. I was in LA. I'm in LA. And I found production work was kind of slowing down a little bit, just being in a new area for myself. And I was starting this like leadership program, and it took me to San Diego for the weekend as part of the kickoff for this program. And so I reached out to, the person that I knew in town, because I'm a big believer in, stay connected and have conversations. And I reached out to Dean Hollander, who lived in the area, and I was like, hey, I'm going to be in town. We had collaborated years before, and we'd love to hear what you're up to. And as he's sharing with me, I find out that he's working on this kind of idea that cannabis could use a different approach in terms of storytelling and branding and positioning and problem solving. And so he kind of filled me in. He was like, I'm kind of in the kitchen still with this. And so I guess I got to taste the soup a little bit, what he was thinking. And I just got really intrigued, and I was like, I'd love to help. And so I started really just doing the same thing that I do for organizations and, different things that I create content around. And I started doing it around this, and it was really getting to know what brands existed, what products existed, almost putting like my journalist student hat on and just saying like, I'll learn and then I'll tell the story. And so I started working on like collateral events, again, just creating an environment for a conversation to happen. And the more that we did this work together, the more we saw some of the challenges, of course, that the brands were up to. And I, and experienced a lot of the stigma, the concern people had using social media, whether they wanted to use their own handles. So I was really like in these meetings hearing about the experience of cannabis from the inside, and the push and pull between like what people believe in and what's sometimes needed for like an industry to grow. And that they're not always, there's sort of having to warm up to different approaches and different ideas. So anyway, it was just a really interesting way to like be in the room. I felt like a fly in the room, fly in the wall. And which is a great feeling for me. Like I said, I create documentary. I like being with people in real moments. And then Dean started sharing, I've been thinking about this brand, and there's this, confusion, and there's this challenge that consumers have. And, I've been researching, and then he came across the book, Cannabis Pharmacy, and Michael Bacchus, and then through LinkedIn reached out. And then the three of us were in a room one day talking about the potential for this brand, and I'm taking notes, and and that's really how it started. Like one of my favorite, I'm going to totally nerd out. Like one of my favorite documents is like that initial note taking, Google Doc, where you're just like, that's where it started,
Yes,
so it was,
I love that. It
was a real discovery along the way. We got ourselves a WeWork, 10 months later, we're working remote, and started with WeWork, and we were doing that for 6 months, and then COVID hit, and we all dispersed as we all did. And the rest has been remote since then. So.
Wow. And how's that been? I mean, do you feel like the same, like, oh my gosh, business time, the same synergies there, and you've got the momentum, or how's it feeling for you?
I think we have a really steady pace. We have like all our weekly meetings and our kickoffs and our collaborations, and we do some in person, Judith and myself and Michael here in LA. But it does have its challenges. I think you feel like you're working in a vacuum sometimes, where you have to get off your Zoom and do your work and then share it and then come back and do your work. And I myself, was always in the room with people. I was also an editor, so I was used to working by myself. Like, give me my time, I'm going to do my work, and then I'm going to show you, and we're going to work together. So the working together part's hard to recreate on Zoom, but we managed. So.
Yeah, you adapt, and and before we know it, there will be office space again. I truly believe that. And especially like with cannabis, we're such a social industry, we just need to be together, and we like feed off of each other, I think.
Yeah. There's nothing like it.
No. Yeah. Can't wait to get back to LA. And when we do, I will definitely let you know, so that we can make some time and get together, do this again, but in person.
Absolutely. So and tell me which blend.
I mean, listen, I love all of them. Okay. I'm not going to lie. But Happy Camper sounds just like my cup of tea, that just, it sounds like it would make me feel like I got this, everything's all good. That's my jam.
Yeah. It's like, I think we should do a little vote for people. Would you rather find your smile, ease your mind, boost your awareness, or enjoy the moment?
Well, I mean, enjoy the moment is just, you can't How do you say no to that? So,
Right.
yeah, but we'll have to try all of them. Before we wrap, my darling, I have 3 questions that I ask all of my guests. Okay. So I'm going to have to ask you. No pressure. All right. So first question is, tell me, who is in your dream smoke circle, dead or alive? 3 people.
Oh, 3 people. Wow. I, I hate to admit it for some reason, but for some reason I thought Jim Morrison,
Oh,
Gandhi, and who would the third one be? I would really love to sit down with, it's hard to separate Jay-Z and Beyonce, like the unit. Jay-Z and Beyonce.
You know what? You can have both. Yeah.
Just like the
Jay
business
and Bay.
empire.
Yeah. Jay and Bay. Did you see that Tiffany campaign?
Yes. Yes. Stunning. No, I mean, I love thinking about like royalty in different beings, and it's like how we carry ourselves and how we present and how we can like enrich our environment. And I feel like those are people who did that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I completely agree with you. I will be their loyal servants till the day I die. And, she's a Texas girl, so we've definitely got that Texas woman thing going. Right. All right. Second question is, what other woman is killing it right now in cannabis? Who's inspiring you?
Wow. There are so many women, and I'm going to have to admit, I'd have to like look at different names and,
Right.
In order to recall, but, I see, like, I remember the name Alice Moon because I know that she's in PR and she's talking about it. And I know that, she's probably the first name that I saw in LinkedIn, really being vocal. And I feel like I'm just at the beginning of my journey of meeting people, especially because we've all been remote.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that answer. I love that answer so much because I'm planning on an interview with her in the next couple weeks. And
yeah.
I love the synergy of that.
I love that too. And it's just like the willingness to just talk about it. I mean, I think that for me has been where I think the bravery has been is just, like, how do you just stand for something that you believe in and that, there are forces kind of that you're in that you have to navigate that you also know are worth working through,
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we cannot do it alone. We can't. So, okay, great. Alice Moon, love that. All right. Third question. What advice would you give to your 13-year-old self?
Oh man, I would tell my 13-year-old self to to find my smile, to really enjoy like the journey and to just trust and keep going and not stop. Yeah, not stop.
Amen. Great advice. Okay, so how do people find you?
So we are at perfect-blends.com. That's how you can find us, find our product, and find all our socials. We are at Blends by Perfect on Instagram. And we're also going to be on Spotify soon. We're going to start having some fun playlists there. So that'll be up. I'm not sure exactly, but definitely before summer. So.
Oh, yeah. You got to have that summer playlist.
Yeah, we need our summer playlist.
I freaking love that. I will be seeing you in the next couple months in LA. There's no question. And I'm just really excited to meet you in person. But this has just been lovely. Thank you so much for this conversation.
Likewise. I hope we have it again. And just thank you for putting a spotlight on women doing the work. And thank you.
Absolutely. No problem. I will be circling back around because the conversation is ongoing, and, being able to let other women tap into these conversations is just so, I think, I needed it at one point in my life. So I'm excited to be able to give that. So
yeah. And one thing I'll just add is that, we kind of surprised ourselves this year when Women's Month was coming around, and we were like, let's do something, like let's show. And we were really pleased to see, we've got 2 lead designers, Meta and Olivia, and we've got Judith out in retail, and myself, and we're really supported by a great team overall, but it's encouraging to just see that there's space for us to be expressing and helping build a brand that we believe in. So
absolutely. Yeah. Amen. That's the most beautiful thing. That's the most perfect.
It's perfect.
It's perfect.
If you'd like more, subscribe to the Feminized podcast on YouTube. Follow at Feminized with Liz Grow on Instagram. Special thanks to our sponsors Moose Labs and Richard's Rainwater. The Feminized podcast is a Grow House Media production, created by Liz Grow, produced by Patrick Pope and Dennis Ray, with original theme music and audio mixing by Q at Q to King Productions in New Braunfels, Texas.